today I want to talk about strategy. Which Amazon strategy should you be focusing on? I mean, there's loads of them. Retail arbitrage, online arbitrage, private labels, wholesale, drop shipping, Euro flips. I mean, there's probably going to be like another 5 that arrive this week from all the different software gurus and stuff coming out, trying to tell you what to focus on. Well, I wanted to make this video really just to clear up a little bit of the confusion because, I've been speaking to loads and loads of people on the phone recently who are interested in coaching, buying my courses and things like that. Also been answering loads of emails, and I keep getting this topic crop up and people are confused. Like, they don't know there's so many things you can be focusing on to build an Amazon business, so many strategies that work, but how do you know where the best place to start is? Now, the thing is, if you actually choose the wrong strategy in the beginning, the best case scenario is you could just make a few mistakes and just, adjust course onto the right strategy. Worst case scenario is you can end up wasting loads of money, loads of time, get really demoralized, and, business isn't easy at the best of times. Like, it's hard, right? So if you set off on the wrong foot in the wrong direction, you're making things even harder for yourself. So with these setbacks, you could really start to get demoralized and end up not creating the income you want from an Amazon business. And that could really be a bit of a tragedy, right? So let's set you off on the right foot. What strategy should you be aiming for? I'm going to start from the bottom, okay? Because the strategies, really, which one you should focus on, depend on the level of capital you have right now and the level of time you have right now. So if you're completely broke, right, if you're just starting out, you maybe got a couple $100 to invest in stock. Maybe that's all the money you have right now. You might have a job or some other income. Maybe you don't even have any other income and money's a real problem. Then you should be focusing 100% of your time on nothing other than retail arbitrage. Okay, this is like the main thing you should be doing right now. Don't do online arbitrage. Don't try and do wholesale because it's not going to work. Don't do Euro flips. Please try not to do private labels. Don't even think about going anywhere near importing products from China or selling products that aren't already being sold on Amazon right now, because that strategy in itself requires so much money to actually get the products to sell that you're not even going to have enough money for that, let alone the costs for stock. Like, you need to import big quantities usually. You need to brand things properly, and it takes a while for that strategy to build up momentum. So if you're broke, focus on retail arbitrage. That's the first thing I wanted to share with you, okay? Buy a couple of products that already sell really well. Could be like a couple of Barbie dolls or popular toilets working really well that you find for 50% off, or some home and kitchen products or baby products, whatever it is. Retail arbitrage is the way forward. You could turn that couple $100 into $400 through going out and sourcing stock from clearance shelves and in stores and stuff like that, and just keep hustling until you build up your capital. I mean, this stuff can really work. I had a guy who I was on the phone with today, actually, who such an amazing story. He was completely broke, didn't have a job, was looking for some way to actually make money online. I think he was looking at affiliate marketing and a couple of other things. And he came across my podcast, and I'll put a link to it in the description so you guys can check it out as well. And he started out with like barely any money 6 months ago, and he just listened to what I was saying on the podcast, the free material I give away, and he just ran with it and took loads of action. And last month he did £22,000 in sales on his Amazon account, from nothing to doing like 7 or 8 grand in profit in 1 month. So you don't have to start with private labels if you want to eventually be earning big bucks. You can start with retail arbitrage like this guy did, just using my free podcast, and then build your way up to private labels gradually. So what about if you have a little bit of cash? What about if you've got maybe £2,000, $2,000, and you're thinking maybe retail arbitrage, it takes time. You have to travel to stores, buy products, bring them back, package them up and send them into your account. Like, that does take time. To be honest with you, it's kind of almost similar to having a job, right? You put in hours, you buy the stock, you send it into your account, and it sells. But then when it sells, you have to keep sending in more stock to keep that consistent income coming in, right? So retail arbitrage really isn't something you should be aiming to do forever. So what's a slightly more leverageable strategy you could do if you have a little bit of cash? Well, I'd say online arbitrage is probably the next step up. I want to give you a few numbers, a few specifics of what you can expect from these two strategies, just so you can draw the parallel between them and decide when you should do either one. Okay, so with retail arbitrage, you should be aiming to get between 50 to 100% return on investment with any stock you buy. Okay, so if you spend $1 on stock, you should aim to get $1.50 to $2 back in money in your pocket after Amazon fees and everything. Right, so that means from $1 spent on stock, you make 50 cents profit or $1 profit. Okay, so you can imagine if you wanted to earn $1,000 a month doing retail arbitrage, you should spend between $1,000 to $2,000 a month on stock. Obviously, you won't start there. You'll start spending whatever you're comfortable with, $50, $100, $200, send in the stock, wait for it to sell, get the money out, reinvest the money into more stock and build up to the point where you can spend $1,000 or $2,000 a month. And that will get you your $1,000 a month in profit. Usually, obviously everybody's business is different, right? But that's what you can expect from retail arbitrage. Online arbitrage, however, you should really expect a 20% return on investment, roughly. So that means if you spend $1 on stock, you're going to get about 20 cents profit. Spend $1 on stock, you'll get $1.20 in your pocket back, right? After the cost of the stock, about 20 cents profit. The reason for this is because retail arbitrage is where you're going to get all the bargains, right? That's the quickest way to grow your money as fast as you possibly can. Why? Well, because in retail stores, when they need to clear their shelves and make room for new stock to come in, they will literally, do 80%, 90% discounts on stock, and that's where you're going to find the really, really cheap deals. Online arbitrage just isn't quite as good, to be honest with you. You're only going to be finding products that are reduced by 30%, 40%, and everybody who can access the website will get the same deals, same as any other online sourcing. Whereas with retail arbitrage, it's only you and the people around your area who can go to that store who will see those deals, right? So there's a little bit less competition with retail arbitrage in that sense. So to take our example again, to make $1,000 a month business, with retail arbitrage, you've got to spend $1,000 to $2,000. With online arbitrage, you'll probably have to spend about $5,000 a month to make that $1,000 in profit. So you can see now, even though online arbitrage is a bit more leverageable, you can buy stock from online stores, get it sent into Amazon or send it into a prep center and get them to send it to Amazon. You can do it from anywhere. You can do it from coffee shops, be surfing online for products to send into your account. And it's a bit more leverageable. You can outsource the product research, get virtual assistants to help you, but you need to spend more money to make less profit. So it's best to start with retail arbitrage. If you're broke, then move on to online arbitrage. Now, if you're thinking about doing any kind of importing or any kind of wholesale, I'd recommend an absolute bare minimum of $3,000 to start. Okay, and I really want to make this 100% clear. There's a load of other Amazon gurus out there who are selling importing courses, private label courses, wholesale courses, and they'll say things like you can start with a couple $100 and scale up. In my experience, you can start importing private label products, branding your own stuff for $200, but when I've tried to do it with that small of an investment initially, it just ends up going nowhere. You need a lot of stock to really get a cheap enough price to make a profit. You need money to market the products and sell them effectively. If you're going to be doing proper private labels, you need money for cost per click advertising on Amazon sponsored ads. You need money for promotions, like to budget a little bit of stock to give away for free or half price. And there's all these extra costs, not to mention like import duty, import VAT, all the clearance and charges and delivery charges. Like it all adds up. I'd say you need a minimum of $3,000 or £3,000 to make private labeling work. So also another thing you need to take into account with that strategy is that you're not going to see a return on that investment for quite a while. Now, importing from China, starting your own brand is probably the end goal for many Amazon sellers. It was for me in the beginning. This is what I'm focusing on now because, I mean, it's just great. You import like 2,000 units, send them into your account. They just keep selling. You do little tweaks, marketing tweaks to get them to sell more. You know, get your product from page 500 to page 1 as quickly as possible. And then it just keeps selling. You keep tweaking and then you restock when it runs out. Right, it's automated. You don't have to keep going out on retail arbitrage trips and stuff. But you can't start with that if you're completely broke right now. Okay, so remember, you need about $3,000 to do private labels. You're not going to see the money back for 2 or 3 months till you start turning a profit. Yes, it's an amazing strategy, but don't start with it now if you're completely broke. So I hope this gives you a little bit more of an insight into how the strategies on Amazon work, which strategy you should start with. I mean, where are you right now? If you've got less than $1,000, retail arbitrage. A little bit more, online arbitrage. If you've got $3,000 or more on a credit card that you can put aside for a couple of months, go launch private labels. But please don't make the mistake of jumping into the wrong strategy because it could really harm you and be a bit of an issue once you realise that, you know, it's not quite going to work. I've actually seen people at the other end of the spectrum as well who have a lot of money, who have, say, you know, $10,000 or $20,000, and they're ready to go, and they're really keen to start their Amazon business, but they're doing retail arbitrage. And I mean, it can be quite a good introduction, maybe for the first week or two, but I mean, really, like, you should start with private labels, man. You've got the cash. You should be doing the stuff that's a real business, building your real brand, importing stuff from China, and getting that automated stuff going. I hope this has been insightful for you. I can't wait to keep making more videos like this for you. Any questions, by the way, do just leave a comment below and I'll try and answer your question in a video as well. Take care. Whatever you do, keep believing.